Oh, kaway dyan ang mga taga-QC. Yes! Let's
So,
go. Mainit-init po ang hapon natin ngayon. Ayan, we have Marichelle from Cavite and she's feeling great.
that's so great, Marichelle. We also have Sandra from Iloilo City. Wow. Hi, Sandra. Good afternoon. We also have Ronwaldo from Mandaue City. Hi. Ay, maulan daw kila Jessica. Sana all. Medyo lapot na kami ni Mira here from QC.
Oh, parang nasa ibang panig ng mundo ang QC. Wala siya sa Pilipinas. Ayan, ang dami. Very nationwide ang dating talaga ng positive workplaces. Yan, since we would like to ask, curious na curious kasi kami, are there any first-timers here with us today? Press 1 naman po sa chat if this is your first time attending a Positive Workplaces webinar. Uy, marami-rami po tayong first time here.
Yeah.
Ay,
Ang
that's a lot.
bilis.
Oo, ang bilis talaga. Fourth timer daw. Oh, loyal.
Uy, sino yan?
Ayan, at least dito mararanasan nyo ang maging number 1 sa buhay nyo. Ay, ganun pala yun.
Ayan, medyo marami na tayo here sa Zoom. We have 231 participants and we still have a lot of space here. So you can still invite your friends to tune in with us. Pero if you can't be with us here sa Zoom, you can tune in with us sa YouTube po kasi we will be live streaming on YouTube. And ayan, good afternoon, Arnett, sorry, ayan. And so kung napapansin niyo po, para doon sa mga hindi first timer, sa mga, ayan, fourth timer katulad ni Christian, iba po ang faces na nasisilayan niyo for today's video. We are taking over as host for Gabby and Joyce.
Pero wag po kayong mag-alala. We will make sure na very bongga ang Chigavolity for this webinar na matatapon namin ang kanilang mga aura.
Ayan. And since marami tayong first-timers, sino naman po dito ang mga suki ng PW webinar? Meron ba tayo na hindi ito ang first time? Ikaw!
Ako po.
Meron ba tayo? I saw someone, fourth time niya na daw.
Ayun, we have
Ayan, si
Christine.
Christine. Ayan. And for those, wow, ayan, madami na. Hello, hello. And yes, for those who attended before sa aming June series, last webinar of our June series, you may remember me. Pero may challenge po kaming binigay sa inyo yon noon. Do you guys remember kung ano yung challenge na yon?
Ano po yun?
Ayan. Do you guys, ayun, si Christian. Oh my gosh. Ito ba si
Swak na
Christian from
swak.
UST? Yes, we challenge you guys to bring a friend. At dinote ko po yon. Ayan, buti nga naka-attend si Christian. Nag-bring ka ba ng friend? Sa mga ating mabuhay. Ako pa is, yes, hello. Ay, hindi nakapag-bring ng
Ay,
friend.
hindi.
Bakit ka hindi nag-bring ng friend? Sabi ko, papayagan ko kayo magdala ng +1.
Wala. For the tampo na kami ni Kat, wala na. Me, myself, and I daw po.
Okay, that's all right. Ayan, madami-dami na tayo sa Zoom room. But again, you can still invite your friends. And if you can't tune in with us here sa Zoom room, you can watch the live stream on YouTube.
Ayan, ngayong nakapag-attendance check na tayo, we can start with today's webinar. So, bestie, in line with today's topic, kamusta naman ang attention span natin?
Ako, medyo nahihiya talaga akong aminin, no? Pero hindi maayos yung, hindi maganda yung attention span ko. As in, last week, I tried watching a lecture video. Tapos, parang 5 minutes in pa lang ako. Naisip ko na parang may-inspire ako maglinis today. Parang gusto ko na lang manood ng TikTok. Parang yun yung experience ko. How about you, bestie ko? May experience ka ba when it comes to attention span?
For me naman, parang madalas, ganun pala eh. Madalas po akong nahihirapan mag-keep up ng attention span ko kapag may pinapanood akong TV show or kapag may binabasa akong libro na tipong makita ko na lang bigla sarili ko na nagse-cellphone na. Which is pointless din kasi paano ko nga matatapos yung pinapanood o yung binabasa ko, di ba? So
Oo.
how about yung learners natin dito sa Zoom room? Would you say na may short attention span din po kayo? Type in the chat box if you do.
Ayan. Yes, sabi ni Mo, yes. Yes, ayan. Madaming nakaka-relate sa atin. Ayan, madami nga. Ay, ako ang may tanong. Meron ba dito yung sa sobrang short ng attention span, yung kailangan na ng subway surfers para makinig? Alam niyo ba yon?
Kaka-TikTok mo yan, bestie.
Oo nga. Ayun, si alam ni Nadine. Alam din ni Jessica. So, yon. Ayan. Very perfect for today's webinar kasi we will be talking about win back your focus, an introduction to attention training. But before that, syempre magpapakilala po muna kami. Ayan. So hello everyone. We're your Gen Z besties na may chikang mainit every minute. I am Kat and here with me is
Mira, and we are your training and development interns from Positive Workplaces. And in Positive Workplaces, we believe that we can co-create cultures that will enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce. And we believe we can do that by doing positivity ripples.
So ano nga ba yung positivity ripples? So spreading the positivity ripples start within yourself, no? It starts with leading yourself. And a great example of this would be you guys attending the webinar. Kasi you allow yourselves to learn new concepts, especially here sa PW, you learn about workplace well-being, positive psychology, leadership, and the like. Tapos after nyo mag-attend ng webinars, dun kayo magsa-start mag-lead ng others. So after this webinar, let's say you share with your peers na what your insights about the topics you've learned. And after that, we are able to lead our own teams and organizations where we can lead cultures and start cultivating the positive workplace culture. So ayan po ang positivity ripple. So now I'll pass it back to my bestie for today's reminders.
Ayan, for our reminders naman, especially for our first-timers dito sa Zoom room, have another device on hand or be ready to go to another link as we will be using Menti and Pigeonhole later in this session. Sa mga may hilig naman magsulat at mag-type ng kanilang mga notes, prepare your pen and paper and your note-taking apps. And lastly, we love it when you guys interact with each other in the chat. However, while we encourage audience engagement, let us keep the chat a safe space for everyone. So please be respectful in the chat. And most importantly, for our evaluation forms, it will only be issued at the end of the webinar. So please do stay until the end of the session. And it will also only be available for those here in the Zoom room. Ngayon, let us remember the acronym TEN sa pagsagot ng ating evaluation forms. T for title, i-double check po natin when you click on the link, yung mabubuksan yung form ay for today's webinar, which is Win Back Your Focus, an Introduction to Attention Training. E for email, make sure po natin na tama yung email na i-input, so check for any errors before submitting. And lastly, N for name, type in your name or live name na gusto niyo pong makita sa inyong certificates. Again, i-double check po natin yung spelling because we will not be reissuing certificates since automatically generated po ang ating e-certificates. And for any concerns, about evaluations and certificates, you may email us at engage@positiveworkplaces.org. We will only be entertaining inquiries regarding evaluations and certificates up to 1 week after the event. So after this webinar, you only have 1 week to follow up on the forms.
Ayan. And for this month's theme, we have harnessing the power of attention, unlocking peak performance in the workplace. And joining us for the whole month of July is Sir Dax Covarrubias. Ayan, Dax is a corporate consultant specializing in mindful leadership and emotional intelligence. With more than a decade of experience in the wellness industry, he has designed and facilitated mindfulness programs that have increased the overall well-being to the top local and multinational companies in the country. He brings a unique approach to teaching mindfulness and emotional intelligence by presenting it as a beneficial and essential tool for peak performance. These are delivered through doable and grounded practices that can turn into winning daily habits. His vision is to demystify mindfulness, make it accessible to anyone, and give people the skills to experience life with emerging awareness. Ayan, and Sir Dax is a founding partner at Fearless Inc. Ayan, and makakasama nyo kami and Sir Dax every Wednesday for this month, and we hope you can attend the rest of the series. And we are super excited to kick off the series with today's webinar. Ayan, Mira, would you like to share our learning objectives for today's session?
Ayan, for today, we are going to talk about winning back our focus and introduction to attention training. So our learning roadmap for today would be, why is it essential to win back our attention? What is mindfulness-based attention training? And how can we win back our attention using MBAT? Are you ready to win back your focus? Pakita naman po ng heart react if you are ready. Ayan. Without further ado, let's give a virtual welcome and round of applause to our speaker, Sir Dax Covarrubias.
Yes, thank you, Mira. Thank you, Kat. And good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here. And thank you, Kat and Mira, for nakuha nyo kaagad yung pronunciation ng aking last name. Hindi kayo nabulol kasi madami namubulol sa last name ko. Okay, so let us get us started, team. And for those joining us in this webinar for the first time, welcome to the workshop. And for those na mga suke, nice to see you again and nice to meet all of you. Let us get started. So welcome to Win Back Your Focus, an introduction to attention training, and this will be a first of a series of 3 workshops. And do not worry, team, just in case baka hindi kayo let's say ma-miss you next week, does that mean na hindi na kayo pwede mag-attend ng third one? No. These workshops you can attend by itself, pero syempre maganda na you see the complete picture if you get to attend all 3. So again, I'd like to introduce myself. So Dax Covarrubias, specializing in mindfulness, mindful leadership. I've been part of the wellness industry for 13 years since I started teaching yoga and meditation and then moved into the corporate space. I'm also partner of a new consulting firm called Fearless. And in Fearless, we have our purpose statement, which is to spark innovation and humanity into what we do. And one of our core programs is what we call the power of attention. So this is like bits and pieces. This is usually a 2-day face-to-face workshop, and we're showing you the highlights of this and what we can promise also, team, when it comes to the power of attention for these next 3 weeks, practically may baon. Meron kayong action steps na when we end at 4:30, you can immediately apply it soon afterwards. So let's talk about ano yung 2 keywords time today. With our objectives kasi we'll look at the benefits of mindfulness-based attention training. Tapos we'll talk about what gets in the way of our focus, which is called hijack attention. And then we're going to talk about doable ways to combat hijack attention. Maybe some of you ginagawa na to, so this will be a validation. And then ito na nga, may tayong action steps. Now, I want to focus on 2 words, team: mindfulness and attention. And let's talk at that. So what is attention? Attention is the act or power of fixing your mind on something, while mindfulness naman is the ability to be fully present when it matters most. Now, team, the term mindfulness-based attention training, bago lang to. It was introduced in this book that just came out in 2021 called Peak Mind. Kasi normally, when people think about mindfulness, they think about relaxation, reducing stress. However, di ba, meron mga people, I'm sure a lot of you, na for some people, they thrive on stress or they want to use stress to move them forward. So mindfulness-based attention training is more of how do you reframe stress? How can you use your stress to win back your attention, and to move to peak performance. So, ang mangyayari ngayon, team, let's get started here. No? So, if you look at what mindfulness-based attention training is, there are actually 3 benefits. The benefits is it's make you sharper and more effective, helps you stay present and non-reactive, and builds awareness of your own mind of others and your immediate environment. So I'd like to ask the audience right now, team, please type on chat, which of these benefits are important to you? Is it letter A, letter B, letter C, a combination of A, B, and C, or kung all of the above, lagay nyo all of the above. Tingnan natin. Okay, meron mga, nice, meron mga all of the above. Nakita ko C. Okay, team, we would like to get some shares from the people. Anyone would like to share? Bakit nyo napili itong selection nyo? Please click the raise hands para si Mira and Kat can unmute you and we can have a short discussion. I'm curious lang. Anyone would like to share? Sino ang gusto mag-share dito sa team natin? Anong mga benefits na napili niyo here? And meron ka na nakita? Mira and Kat? Ayun, sige, si Robbie. Hi, Robbie. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes. Robbie, ano napili mo?
I chose po all of the above.
Mm-hmm. Tell us more.
Especially na very busy po sa work, so may tendency minsan na, lalo na po yung letter B, I tend to be reactive. Hindi ko na napag-iisipan masyado yung mga salita na lalabas sa bibig ko o yung mga action ko. So, I think very helpful itong pagiging mindful para din ma-achieve yung benefit letter C, which is to build awareness of my own mind, especially with my immediate environment. Kasi syempre gusto ko rin na I'm not careless.
Yeah.
Since syempre yung magiging reaction ng mga taong nakapaligid sa akin would be a consequence of my words or my actions po.
And what will be different, Robbie, kung medyo if you get some strategies to get at least ma-elevate yung all of the above mo na benefits?
Well, I think it will make my relationship with other people more harmonious. And I think ang daming benefits na mabibigay sa akin. Yung pagiging mindful ka lang, yung I think first before I make a certain reaction. Yan po.
Yeah, sige. Thank you, Robbie. Okay.
Thank you po.
Salamat. I have time for one more. Si Christian Jason. Hi, Christian. Good afternoon.
Hi po, good afternoon. So I chose...
Christian,
I initially
before
chose...
tama ba ang
sige.
palayo mo is CJ? Gine-guess ko lang.
No po, my nickname is Ren.
Okay. Try ko na mag-guess. Sige, go ahead, Ren.
Yeah, I actually picked all, pero initially I picked B because I usually parang react to all things because since I don't need much more of A and C because one, I'm already efficient naman in my work, and two, I am very aware naman of myself emotionally and mentally. So kailangan ko talaga yung B because sobrang aware ko like during work, like lagi kong ine-entertain yung thoughts ko. Like for example, kahit hindi naman siya productive na or hindi siya contextualized sa work ko. For example, nakakaisip ako na ano kakainin ko mamaya kahit di naman ako gutom. Yung mga ganun ba? Ayun po. Kaya parang I needed that kind of benefit because I always react to my thoughts. So ayun po.
Yeah. Okay. So guess what, Christian? Makatulong today, and guess what kung anong topic natin next week? Next week, ang topic is about mental chatter. So I hope I see you also next week. Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, salamat.
Antayin ko po yan.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
And
thank you po.
salamat, Christian. Lau, balikan kita later. I'll call you in a bit. Okay? Thank you. Pero sinulat ko na, meron kong paper dito that I will go back to you. So thank you, Lau. Now, so team, if you look at it, what is getting in the way? What is breaking down or taking away our attention? One of the things that take away our attention is what we call hijacked attention. Okay, ano yung hijacked attention? So this is what hijacked attention looks like. It happens when you get overwhelmed by strong emotions that dictate what you do. A hijack happens when you display aggressive or evasive behavior during interaction, or letter C, you make disappropriate reactions to common situations. So maglo-launch kami ng poll ngayon, team. So which of these hijack situations can you resonate with? Is it A, B, and C? So can we launch that poll? Ayan, sige. So tingnan natin ngayon. And maybe as we get more responses, Kat, interviewin kita. Hi, Kat.
Hello, ayan. I'm
Kat,
back.
alin dito ang nakaka-relate ka?
For me, A.
A, sige.
Yes. Ako kapag nag-overwhelm na ako, feel ko naka-cloud na ako ng mga, oh my gosh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ayan. I get overwhelmed na, tas feel ko naka-cloud yung judgment ko. So,
Correct. Yes, and thank you, Kat. Kasi guess what, Kat? And for everyone else, hijack, may Tagalog term yan. Baka narinig nyo na ito. Hijack in Tagalog is yung naninilim ang paningin. Narinig mo na yan, Kat?
yes.
Yung sa sobrang galit ka, hindi ka na nag-iisip, nawawala ang logic. So
Yeah.
if that happens, you are in what we call hijack mode. Na hijack mode ka na. All right. Thank you. And sige, as more people are starting answering the poll, maybe I'll ask you, Mira. Ikaw, Mira, saan ka nakaka-relate dyan?
For me naman, hindi siya always, but I would display aggressive, evasive behavior
Mhm.
during reaction. Kasi usually, aaminin ko naman na ang first emotion na mararamdaman ko kapag something isn't going my way is anger. And
Okay.
madalas naman nakokontrol ko siya, but may mga times talaga na minsan naubusan ka na ng pasensya.
Yes.
Ganun yung nangyayari for me.
Okay, so makes sense. So it's more of aggressive ang lumalabas. More of the nagko-confront ka na, Mira, when this happens. Okay, sounds good. Siguro let's launch our poll. Tingnan natin kung ano pinaka-popular, Kat and Mira. Okay, so we have our poll here. Lumabas na ba? Okay, so nakita natin ang pinakamalaki is letter A, getting over 77%, and medyo close, si aggressive, evasive, at saka make these appropriate reactions to common situations. All right, sige. So thank you. Let's continue ngayon, team. Continue na natin ngayon. Now, the next one is, so these are the factors that hijack our attention. It's usually threat. It's either merong threat to us or a perceived threat lang in our head, or overwhelmed, na high demand. And also sometimes, diba team, meron mga days na parang mababa lang talaga ang mood natin. So I'm curious, maybe let's do one more poll, one more poll. And tignan natin, which of these factors hijack your attention, team? Is it threat, real or perceived? May danger in front of you? Is it high demand? Or is it poor mood? Tignan natin ngayon. Okay? So syempre kami nakikita namin kung ano yung mga sagot, but I'm curious, sige, ikaw naman muna, Mira, which one, medyo naka-hijack ang attention mo? Which of them? Is it poor mood, high demand, or perceived threat?
For me, baka perceived threat. Kasi madalas, let's say, pag gumagawa ako ng tasks ko or ng project, there are usually consequences that parang drive my emotions all over the place. Kaya sa halip na mag-focus ako sa task on hand, mas nagpo-focus ako sa kung anong nararamdaman ko.
Okay. So para nasa stuck ka na. Okay, makes sense. All right. Thank you. So I think we have tignan na rin natin, team, kung can we launch the poll? Kat and Mira. Okay. So if you see, team, sa poll natin medyo pantay-pantay. With high demand, leading, close is poor mood, tapos threat. So guess what, team? You are in the right workshop kung sumagot kayo in any of these. Okay, so congratulations. All right. Now, if you look at it also, team, meron din tayong common hijack behavior. So for this part, I'd like you to choose, maybe type naman on chat, team. So pag naka-hijack kayo, are you A, you become tense, hassled, and exasperated when things don't go your way? Are you B, you say things or do actions that you regret when things settle down? Or are you C, you create more stress and negativity? So nakakagulo pa kayo instead of diffusing the situation. So please type A, B, or C, o combo, all of the above. And ikaw, Kat, saan ka naman dyan pag naka-hijack ka?
For me, I become tense and hassled. Kapag ang dami ko nang ginagawa, parang, na ano na ako. Yun nga, yung emotions ko parang hindi ko na alam kung ano gagawin ko. So,
Okay, yun nga. So parang nawawala yung thinking natin, ano, di ba? So again, yun nga team, di ba? Pagka na-hijack kayo, you forget ano ba yung kailangan kong gawin. Alright, so salamat. Thank you, Kat. And nakita natin na team, if you notice, parang medyo yung mga tanong namin ni Kat at ni Mira, it's more of how do we look like pag na-hijack tayo. Now, we are not here to judge you or to judge each other. This is really kasi mindfulness, di ba? Mindfulness is awareness para you find out how do we look like pag medyo naka-hijack tayo when our emotions are taking over and dictate what you do. And guess what, team? When we get hijacked, it takes 23 minutes to find our flow again. What do I mean? Alam niyo yung flow, team, na ito yung parang pag nagtrabaho kayo, tuloy-tuloy yung trabaho niyo, very concentrated kayo, ang ganda ng trabaho niyo. And normally, di ba, kaya tayo minsan naiinis, di ba? When we're highly concentrated, tapos we get distracted because of hijack, guess what, team? Kaya nakakapagod eh. It takes 23 minutes to find our focus again. So ang goal natin ngayon, for the next hour is to find out, so what can we do para just in case, para for us to mitigate the distractions, the hijacks, para we don't need 23 minutes to find our focus again. So that is why we need to win back our focus. Okay, so meron tayong simple attention training, team. Kasi when it comes to attention training, we are training the brain. There are 3 parts of our brain. And ito, ipapractice natin today para matuto kayo how to do it. There are 3 parts of the brain. The spotlight, the sensor, at saka the sage. Okay? So isa-isa natin yan ngayon, team. Let's go to the spotlight first. So the spotlight is the one that, think of it like a flashlight that looks inside your body and checks out information. Okay, so what is one way to activate your spotlight to train your attention, team? Okay, maybe type on chat, team. When you are hijacked, how does your body react? Okay, give you some samples. For some people, bumibilis ang heart rate, napapapalpitate. For some people, umiinit ang tenga. Kayo, ayan, sige, see. Chest area, yes, continue. Okay, difficulty breathing, perfect. Ano pa, team? Anong itsura niya? Okay, cold sweats, yes. Headaches, yan, namamanhid. Okay, yes, tummy ache. Okay, nanginginig, di ba? Okay, so yun, good. So these are signs. Yan, naging tense ang body, sumasakit, di ba? Sumasakit ang shoulders. Yes, kinakate. Okay, so these are great signs, team. Now, keep it coming. Because what you see here, team, is not just a nice to know list how we look like when we are hijacked, but we are going to use these signals to practice attention training. And I'm also curious, team, who among you, please type me kung napapakain kayo pag hijack kayo. Please type me. Tignan natin, sino yung napapakain pa na hijack? Ayan, okay, well. Again, team, not to judge, but it is more of, di ba, sino na napapakain. Okay, team, who are like me naman? Who are like me na hindi makakain pag na-hijack? Ako, hindi ako makakain pag na-hijack. Ayan, okay. So meron, tinan niyo, team, di ba? So meron mga people, pag na-hijack, napapakain, stress eating. Meron mga people like me, pag na-hijack, hindi makakain. Di ba? Especially pag meron kang presentation, tapos parang you feel nauseous, yun. Okay, your body is going through hijack. So that is a signal we have to pay attention to. Now, curious also, team, pili kayo. If you were to choose which reaction, are you a fight person? What does this mean? Pagka na-hijack kayo, ang unang reaction nyo is confront. Meet the person head on. Or are you like me? Pag na-hijack ako, ayoko. Non-confrontational. I will walk away or hindi ako magpapakita. I will avoid. Or natutulala kayo. Do you freeze and choke and make mistakes? Yan. So tingnan natin. Okay, so we have... Okay. I-poll pala natin yan. Nag-poll ngayon si Anam. Tingnan natin para talagang malagay natin kung sino ang... Ayan, okay. Interesting. Ang bilis na sumagot ng ating mga tao. Yes. And also depends. Tama ka, Dennis. But usually meron tayong default. Like there are some situations I get fight or freeze, but normally flight ako. And let's check the poll. Sige, let's end the poll ulit. Tingnan natin ano nakasulat. Okay, medyo close, but I see that this is a freeze group. And then flight, and then fight is the last one. Okay, iba yung meron tayong dominant, pero depending where we are right now. So yun team, that is one way to activate your spotlight. Number one is, pag na-hijack ka, okay, now find out where it is in your body and find out also, parang napapa-fight ako, parang napapa-flight ako, or parang napapa-freeze ako. So that is one way to activate your spotlight. So very simple, madali lang. The next part team is also, ang gawin nyo is yung sensor nyo. What is that? Kung ang spotlight is more of you look inside, sensor, think of it like parang siyang Wi-Fi signal. Chine-check nyo yung surroundings nyo. Okay. So for this team, let's launch our Mentimeter, Mira. So, kasi dun sa Mentimeter natin team, this is our way to launch our sensor. Ayan, so please click the link. I'll stop my share. Please click the link para and click the Mentimeter. Ayan, so i-launch siya ngayon ni Mira. Team, pakilagay naman dyan, ano? Ayan, so you can scan also the QR code or go to menti.com, enter the code 29397567. And for our first question here, team, please put part of your sensor. Ano ba yung nagtitrigger na ating hijack? Okay, noise, what else? Sige, go ahead. Ano yung nagtitrigger ng hijack niya? Okay, so submissions, okay, paperwork, deadlines, what else, team? Okay, clutter. Okay, unfinished tasks, angry people, problems, our boss, okay, grades. Ano pa nakita natin? We see distractions, okay. May mga experiences tayo nakakaiba kasi, reports. Okay, meron ba nagsulat ng traffic dito, di ba? Traffic or walang Wi-Fi signal, tapos work from home kayo, di ba? Or study from home. Yes, heartbreak, masakit talaga yun. Okay, thank you. Ang dami natin mga sagot. So, keep on writing, team. And mukhang lumalaki, knowing word cloud, noise, pressure, and deadlines mukhang ating top 3. Okay, we're doing good so far, team. We're doing good. Now, what I'd like you to do is, please, may co-workers pa. Okay, look at the list now, team. And I'm going to give you a few moments. Siguro maybe I'm going to give you 1 minute. Siguro let's play music, Mira, for 1 minute. So I'll give you until 3:35 team. Tignan nyo yung listahan dyan, tapos pili kayo na mga gusto nyo, yung mga triggers na gusto nyo ma-address today. Kasi we're going to give you some tools. So choose na the triggers that you want to be addressed right now. So we'll give you until 3:35. So kung meron kayong pen or paper, write it down. Or using your phone, you can type it on the notes. Ayan. Or if you want, yes, type it there on chat. Ano yung mga gusto nyo ma-handle today? We'll do this until 3:35. Okay, and then looking at it, ang dami, no? Netflix is stressful. Okay. Interesting yan, ha? Okay. Ito nga dito. Yeah, bad weather, yes. Kanina, ang lakas ng kidlat here in Makati. New things, or minsan change is also. All right. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So it's now 3:35. Thank you, Mira. We will go back to Mentimeter in a bit. So park. So team, please park. What are those triggers that you want to be addressed today? And let me continue. So guess what, team? Ganun lang ka-simple mag-train ng attention. How do you activate the sensor? Scanning the environment. And one way to scan the environment is to figure out what are the things that trigger my hijacks. And because of that, it's so hard for me to focus. Okay. All right. And thank you for putting also your answers there on chat. So the last part, team, is ngayon na meron tayong spotlight and we know what we look like when we're hijacked. meron tayong sensor, we know the environment that creates the hijack. Meron din tayong sage. Ano yung sage? Ito yung wise part of our brain. In fact, nasa noo nga yan eh. It's called the prefrontal cortex. This is the one that decides what is the right thing to do and how do we respond the right way even if things are going crazy. So team, I'd like you to choose. And Lau, ikaw yung tatawagan ko, si Lawrence. How do you usually respond to address your hijack attention? Are you A, you have the capacity to see things through without losing your composure? Are you B, you listen mindfully and communicate professionally and politely even when upset? Or are you C, you have the ability to separate emotion from logic when making decisions? So I'd like to call back si Lawrence. Hi, Lawrence.
Hello po. Hello.
Yes. Nice to hear your
Ah.
voice. And ano ka dyan, Lawrence? Saan ka nakaka-relate? And you can choose more than one, ha?
Siguro I can relate more sa B and C since C in my personal ang personal approach ko parang more on pag medyo na-hassle na ako or na-hijack na ako is I tend to separate my emotions dun sa logical thinking ko. So I tend to reason out ano yung mas logical na unahin, ano yung mas logical na gawin. So kapag ganun. And more on B kapag nasa professional space ako. Kasi since I'm in a helping field, so helping profession, so most likely I am expected to communicate and be listen mindfully dun sa mga clients and such.
Yeah.
So more on mix of B and C depending on kung nasaang space ako ng ano.
So I'm curious, Lawrence, ano yung mga parang techniques mo para ma-activate mo si letter B at si letter C?
Usually kapag personal decisions lang siya or kapag personal like personal problem lang siya or personal hijack kumbaga I tend to do yung C nga na parang sineseparate ko yung emotion ko whatever I might feel I'm trying to think kung ano yung mas logical na decision na gawin. So pero when I am in the working space or kapag nandun ako sa profession ko or nandun yun yung problema has something to do with my profession. So most likely I communicate with my coworkers, I communicate with my head. So I try to parang pick up kung ano yung pwedeng gawin and I try to to compromise kung ano yung mga kaya kong gawin. Ganun.
So parang you become curious, Lawrence, find out where they're coming from. Parang ganun, tama ba?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Most
Salamat.
likely pag ganun kasi medyo expected to professionally deal with it.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you, Lawrence. We have time for one more. Who else would like to share, team? Pa-click naman ng raise hands. I'm curious. Yes, Isabel. Hi, Isabel. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, good afternoon.
Mhm.
Yeah, so for me personally, it's B. Kasi when I get emotional, I end up spiraling internally. Talaga, as in, it's all me, ganun na siya. So, it helps na I ground myself with other people. When I talk to other people, kumbaga, mas bumabalik yung focus ko when that happens to me. So, yun.
So parang surrounding yourself with good people who can support you. Tama ba, Isabel?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Kasi minsan nakakahawa din ng good energy, ang good vibes, Isabel? All right. Salamat. Thank you. Okay, so let's continue na, team. So if you look at it, di ba? Now, you might be asking, okay, Doc, so what do we do in between? Siyempre, our body is feeling this, our environment is this. What can I do para I can choose this? So, meron po tayong 3 quick ways, team. And when we do these 3 ways, it will help us para choose to be the sage. Choose to respond mindfully, separate emotion from logic, and keep our composure. So, ano yung unang way natin? The first way is what we call the STOP method, team. The STOP method. And that's an acronym. Ano yung stop method? So if you feel, kaya maganda team, di ba? That is why pinasulat ko sa inyo how your body looks like when you're hijacked. Because the moment that you're noticing it, then activate the first letter. Stop and pause. And when you pause, ano yung T? Take 3 breaths. And may ibig sabihin, team, bakit 3 breaths? And once you take your 3 breaths, you observe the sensation body. Uy, parang medyo bumibilis ang heart rate ko. Medyo sumasakit ang muscles ko. Medyo umiinit ang katawan ko. And by allowing yourself to pause, this will help you now proceed with the best response. Now, team, here's an interesting thing. I'm sure you do this. You've experienced this. Pag medyo na-hijack kayo, you stop and take a breath, di ba? Hinga muna. Or for example, let's say I work with Kat or Mira. Nakita ko medyo naging overwhelmed na sila. I will tell them, Kat, Mira, hinga muna tayo. Because it's normal, team. When we ask to take our breath, it means that our body wants to pause. But here's the interesting part, team. You do not breathe once, kasi kulang yun. You do not breathe twice, kasi kulang pa rin yun. You need to breathe at least 3 times. And let's try this out, team, because this is the easiest one to do. So everyone in this Zoom room right now, let's all breathe 3 times. Follow my instructions. Inhale, exhale, notice how you're breathing. Second breath, inhale, exhale, relax the body. And on your third breath, inhale, exhale, just be curious. What's the best way to respond? And if you're going to time that, team, it's 1 second to inhale, 1 second to exhale. So which means if you take 3 breaths, how many seconds? 6 seconds. And ito yung interesting part, team. It's been measured. What is it? That when you feel triggered by something, an emotion is at its peak for the first 6 seconds. Which means if you do something or say something in 6 seconds or less, you are coming from an aggressive space. You might be doing something that you will regret immediately after. So, kailan to best, team? When you feel triggered by something, or before an important conversation, or before you reply to a text message or email. Kasi team, tingnan nyo, bakit nag-aaway? Notice, especially pag sa social media, bakit nag-aaway ang mga tao sa social media? Because, di ba, the moment they see something na hindi nila gusto, how soon do they respond? Minsan wala pang 1 second, nagta-type na sila, team, di ba? So that is less than 6 seconds. So most likely you are sending something in an aggressive manner. Same thing na when we send a text or email kaagad na hindi na pag-isipan. So what do you need to do? What you need to do, team, is breathe first at least 6 times to allow the part of your brain to cool down and then proceed. Kaya how do you also do that? When you do your 3 breaths, observe what is going on in your body para you're allowing yourself to pause. So I'm curious, team, who does this? Please click the raise hands. I'd like to find out who relates to this. So para you breathe at least 3 times and it helps you diffuse the situation. We'd love to hear from you. Does anyone practice something like this or some form of it? The stop method? Ayan, gusto, I see. Leah, would you want, ayan, si Mark pala. Mark, hi Mark, good afternoon. Yes, unmute natin si Mark. I'd like to hear how this works for Mark. One moment, Mark. Si Mark Barrow. Kat or Mira, can we unmute him?
Yes, on their end, they can unmute na.
Pwede ka na palang unmute. Mark, go ahead. Baka may delay lang. Okay lang, Mark. Sige, I'll go back to Isabel muna. Hi, Isabel. Sige, tell us how this works for you.
Yes, hello ulit.
Mm.
For me, actually, hindi lang siya 3 breaths eh. I usually give myself another day. For
Okay.
example, parang
Mhm.
I put off whatever that triggering situation, or for example, I receive an email na parang, teka, I don't know how to respond to this, na overwhelm ako. So,
Mm.
if possible na professionally speaking, pwede ko siyang i-put off, I would put it off the next day para alam ko na
Ah.
hindi ako emotional when I address the situation. Pag
Mhm.
naman pag hindi na siya pwede i-put off kasi urgent yung concern niya, that's when I go back to what I mentioned earlier na parang I allow myself to talk to someone else first
Okay.
para may ka-back and forth ako, and then tsaka ako magre-respond dun sa person na alam ko na hindi lang ako yung parang may check and balance when I
Yes,
get moved to that person. Yun lang.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
Isabel, you pause talaga, no? You pause, basta you make
Yes.
sure pause. So guess what,
Yes.
Isabel? Di ba, I know what I hear is you either wait for the next day or you be with people to support you. Tama, no?
Yes,
Okay. So guess what, Isabel? Kaya I'd like to invite you to session 3, because session 3, I'm going to give you ways to train your attention para when those strategies work, yung 1 day mo baka maging 6 seconds na. So attend ka ng session 3, Isabella.
Definitely,
Okay,
nag-sign up
sige.
na rin ako.
All right, thank you. Perfect. Sakit daw. Thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you. Salamat. May time, let's see si Mark again. Mark, can you unmute na? Kaya na ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay,
Good
Mark. Good afternoon. Tell us more. How does this work for you?
I think, sir, one principle in psychology lang po yung lagi kong inaalala. That is principle of being tactful, the
Mhm.
attitude of being tactful. At saka, personally po, pag ano po I had identified into myself po na pag I would react immediately onto a certain situation, especially negative siya, it would cause me not so good a thing. So parang ganun.
So parang alam mo na kasi yung consequence, ano, Mark? Parang ganun, ano?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So at least that is putting on the brakes for you from reacting kasi alam mo kung ano pwede mangyari, ano?
Yes po, sir.
Yes. And sometimes mas mahirap i-repair pa, di ba, Mark? Madali mag-react pero mahirap mag-repair, di ba?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Salamat, Mark. Thank you, thank you. Kaya if you notice,
thank you, sir.
team, salamat, Mark. Kaya if you're observing, part of that is noticing, ano kaya ang consequence kung gawin ko to? And I notice, aside from Mark and Isabel, I see some of our colleagues also practice a stop method. So if not yet, so this is an opportunity for us to try out. Okay. Next one, team. The next one is what we call just like me. And I think baka ginagawa nyo to. So ano yung just like me? Again, you do 3 breaths. Diba? 3 breaths tayo, 6 seconds pa rin. But when you do it, first, you settle the body. Second, you see a fundal similarity. Tapos, you respond appropriately. Na kailan bagay ito? And I'll tell you how this works. So, bagay ito, working with people different from you. Bagay ito to build a sense of goodwill with your colleagues. And bagay ito before a difficult conversation. So, how does just like me work, team? So, feeling ko ginagawa for some of you. This is putting yourselves into the shoes of the other person. So let me give you an example, team. So for example, bago kang team lead, diba? Bago kang team lead with your team. And then meron kayong bagong team member, may potential, you gave them challenging work kasi yung potential nga, pero pumalpak, di ba? So syempre, kung hijack tayo, what do? Papagalitan siya agad, di ba? Bakit hindi mo kaya, etc., etc. But ito yung pause mo. If you feel na magre-react ka, you might say something aggressive, you take 3 breaths. First breath, settle the mind. Second breath, see a fundamental similarity. Put yourself into their shoes. So when was a time na nandun ka rin sa situation na yun? Bago ka sa team mo, your team lead trusted you, showed potential, gave you challenging work, tapos pumalpak ka. So you know how it feels to fail. You know how it feels to disappoint your team. So you know also how it feels. So if you had a boss na sinabon ka in front of everyone, tapos parang nadurog ka, di ba? I will not do it that way. So I will talk to my team member as to with the way na if I were the one receiving it, how if I were in their shoes, what is the best way to send the message to me? So basically, this is about being the boss that you wish you had. Or if you have a boss who was very assertive, very upfront, pero respected you at the same time, but still made you accountable, then do it that way. So this is your way to reframe the conversation. So I'm curious, team, who among you does that? Na para ma-pause, para hindi kayo madala ng situation, you put yourselves into the shoes of the other person para mas madali to approach the situation. Anyone? So please type me on chat. Thank you. Or if you like, please click the raise hands. Para we'd love to hear from you. For those who do just like me. Meron ba nag-just like me dito na would like to share? And nakita rin naman natin, team. Okay, so medyo, okay, so good. So if you're doing this, guess what, team? What you're doing here, kasi pinapakita natin ngayon, these are all backed up by research in the book na Peak Mind. So what you're doing is called Just Like Me. Now, there's also another version of this team. Sometimes, if, for example, you cannot put yourselves into the shoes of the person, then who does this person remind me of that I know how to handle, that I care for, that I know how to handle? So for example, team, for some BPOs na clients ko, they use this. So for example, meron sila kausap sa telepono. Tapos ang kausap nila, masungit na matandang babae. Di ba? So instead of patulan nila yung kausap nila sa phone, what do? Okay, I'm talking to my lola. Kausap ko lola ko. Di ba? And sometimes kasi team, di ba? But a personality of one person, kahit hindi magkakilala, can work with another person, basta similar personality. So what works for them is how they talk to their lola that works na to talk to that person. So parang ganun, put yourselves into the shoes of the other. Who is this person in my life? How do I handle it and approach the person that way? So if you look at it, it's more of breathe, tapos think, sino to sa buhay ko? Or think, what if I were in that shoes? And then we will respond. Okay, so I'm curious, Kat or Mira, do you relate to any of these just like me? Who among you relates to this or does this? Put yourselves into the shoes. Ayan, Mira, go ahead.
Ayan. For me, I guess, it's putting a name sa ginagawa ko na before na usually I would respond in a way na, syempre isipin ko muna yung kalagayan ng other party, kung bakit ganun sila respond or nag-act bago ako magbigay ng kung ano ba yung nararamdaman ko in an appropriate form. Kunwari, I feel sad. So, syempre, ilalagay ko siya sa appropriate format na tipong makakarating sa kausap ko na malungkot ako and they need to acknowledge that. So, para mapunta kung ano yung magiging next step namin, ganito, ganyan.
Yes. And thank you, Mira, kasi normally curiosity is part of mindfulness. Yeah. Ikaw, Kat, does this resonate with you?
Yes, and actually napatingin ako ngayon kasi 4th yan sa Gallup strength ko. Empathy.
Yes.
So yun, I really, nasa-sense ko yung nararamdaman din ng iba. So yung pag-approach ko sa kanila is akma sa nararamdaman nila yun. I don't push them na ganun. So,
correct. No, adjust mo. Diba? Parang change mo yung script, di ba, Kat?
yeah.
So, Kat, may tawag na doon. It's called Just Like Me. Ayan, yun ang tawag doon sa technique na yan. Okay. Thank you, Kat and Mira. Okay. Last one, team. Ito yung maganda, team. This one is bagay to pag nagawa nyo na lahat. Humingi na rin kayo ng tulong sa mga colleagues nyo, sa mga friends nyo. Pero at the end of the day, nako, hindi pa rin nag-work out. So, we go to acceptance breathing. So, ano yung acceptance breathing? It's a portable compassion practice that you can do whenever you feel distress during the day. So basically, team, as you do your 3 breaths, you repeat a phrase that will make you feel better. Ang suggested in mindfulness is you do this phrase. Breathing in, I do my best. Breathing out, I let go of the rest. And ano siya, bagay nga siya when something totally unexpected happens, when you have exhausted all the options, or when you have no choice but to do it. Dun bagay si acceptance breathing. So it's like saying a mantra, and then also it helps you make sense of the moment. And what else, team? Parang, and if you look at it, since masakit siya, kung kanina 6 seconds, team, ito 30 seconds kasi nakaka-bad trip talaga kasi hindi mo natapos, di ba? So I'm curious, team, who does this? And if you do acceptance breathing, what is that mantra that you say to yourself to make you feel a little bit better, to give you some comfort? So please type on chat, team. For those who do this, please type on chat, what is it that the mantra that you tell to yourself to make yourself feel a little bit better if things do not go your way? Yes, God is good all the time. Thank you, Maria. Thy will be done. Thanks, Karen. All is well. Ivana, okay, I can do this. Yes, okay, yan. Team. Yun, so ito yun. Everything happens for a reason. This is just temporary. So yun, you do this while you are breathing. So guess what, team? May tawag doon, ginagawa natin is what we call acceptance breathing. Okay? Good so far? So I'm curious, team. Ay, ako na matatanong niyo. Yes, tomorrow's another day. Lilipas ito. Life must go on. Okay. So team, looking at it now, siguro mag-advance tayo. I'll skip some slides and I'll advance here kasi we're all in a good space now. So let's go back to yung trigger na na-identify or triggers that you identify kanina, team. Which of these, and you can choose more than one, which of these ang bagay sa trigger mo? Is it the stop method, just like me, or acceptance breathing? Nasa ano ba na to? I'm forgetting, Mira. Nasa ano to? Nasa Mentimeter?
Yes, I can share screen the
Okay,
Menti.
sige. Let me stop now. And let's go to Mentimeter, team. Dito niyo sagutin. So think about your trigger. Alam ko may sumasagot na sa chat box. And mukhang benta si acceptance breathing. Okay, benta nga siya. So tinatin, team. Ano yung mga pinaka-best seller natin today? Okay. Sige, so choose. Ano kayang bagay sa ano? Okay, looks like, okay, it's naglalaban, medyo tayo, acceptance and stop. And as we do this, team, would anyone like to share? Please click the raise hands and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Ano yung napili niyo? Okay, balik tayo kay Christian. Hi, Christian. Back to you.
Hi po. So, ang pinili ko is acceptance breathing po.
Yeah, tell us
Because
more.
Because as someone kasi na very neurotic sa ko sa kasi very workaholic din ako. So parang marami rin ako bibigay sa sarili kong deadlines, yung mga work na bibigay ko sa sarili ko. And kapag there are times na feel ko na overwhelmed na ako or parang hindi ko na kaya, parang I just have to accept that there are things na it's really out of my capacity. So I may have to give this to my other colleagues or manghingi na ako ng
Yes.
help, ganun. Para instead of like bottling up my feelings and then parang inaangkin ko na lahat ng mga trabaho. So parang I think acceptance breathing will be helpful for that in that matter. So ayun po.
Very good, thank you. So it is, Christian, may action step ka na. Thank you. Salamat. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else would like to share? Ano yung Ayan, Robbie, back to you. Tell us more.
Hello.
Yes.
Like Christian, I also chose acceptance breathing. Siguro it's also a reminder for myself na the world doesn't revolve around me. Nobody owes me anything kasi I tend to always say na parang I tried my best, but ganito pa rin. It's hard for me to accept na things aren't going the way I planned it to be. So I chose acceptance breathing, but honestly, I still need help to do this effectively. So
Yes.
ayun. So I want to teach myself or maybe to learn more how I can do this effectively kasi although I want to do this, I'm finding a hard time doing this.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Robbie. And if you look at the team, especially some of these, mas mahirap siya, especially kung yung nakaka-hijack sa atin na trigger, malakas talaga. So, kaya ang goal here, team, this is not we always say this, when you attend my workshops, this is not a magic potion formula na parang, once you take win back your focus, hindi ka na ma-hijack, I will forever do an MBAT tool, okay na ako. No, team, it takes a lot of practice and sometimes it will work, but guess the reality, sometimes it won't. Kaya we need to do some attention training further para at least this becomes our new autopilot. So instead of fight, flight, or freeze, when we get hijacked, immediate reaction, we can use either stop, just like me, or acceptance breathing para as a pause for us so that we can activate the sage and respond appropriately. So let me borrow again the screen, Mira. Okay, thank you, team. So let me now, so here are some ways. Ano ba yung mga ways na pwede natin gawin, team? So one way to help your attention, so team, if you see this, kasi, di ba, how can we, so we have asked, so Dax, what can we do para this can be our new autopilot? One way, team, is increase your exposure to green spaces. This is from the book called Nature Fix. So team, the moment that you, so it shows kasi in Nature Fix na the moment that you are around nature, it helps you win back your focus. Di ba? Kasi parang, notice yung team, when you are in, let's say in the beach, di ba, nasa dagat kayo, kahit gaano kayo ka-stress or hijack, the moment that you're in nature, it washes away all the stress or hijack in your body. Now, it's been measured, team. What is the ideal number of minutes to be exposed in green spaces? Okay, make a guess. How many minutes, team? How many minutes? 30 minutes? Sige, ano pa? Ano pa? Make a guess. Please type how many minutes. 15. Okay. Ang winner natin, congratulations, Hannah. It's minimum 10 minutes, team. So when you are, let's say, in a park, walk for 10 minutes. Or just sit down, stay in the park for 10 minutes. Kung nasa dagat kayo, stay there by the shore for 10 minutes. Kung meron kayo mga hilig mag-plants, mga plantito-plantita, tend to your garden for at least 10 minutes. That is the mindful way to do it. Increase your exposure. And sabi pa nga team, Dax, paano kung malayo ako sa park? Paano kung walang puno sa malapit sa akin or malayo ako sa dagat? It's been shown also in that book na just by watching nature scenes on YouTube, team, for 10 minutes or at least minimum 10 minutes or listening to nature sounds on Spotify for 10 minutes is already one way to train your attention. We'll do a deep dive on this on session 3. Pero just in case hindi kayo makapunta, at least you know now. Spend at least 10 minutes here if you can. And if you notice what is one way that you will notice that it's working? If it's easier for you to practice stop, just like me, or acceptance breathing when your attention is hijacked, your an exposure to green spaces is working. Or if you want, here's another one, team, 10 minutes ulit. Seek out awe-inspiring experiences. Okay? Sample. I'll give you a sample, team. Last week, habang nagtatype ako, nandito yung bintana sa akin. Bigla nakita ko may full moon. Di ba parang I think super moon last week? Napapause talaga ako. Sabi ko, wow, I have to stop what I'm doing. And I just stopped and I just stared outside the window. Kasi automatic, I saw an awe-inspiring moment. It was an opportunity for me to pause and train my attention. So I just allowed myself to be for 10 minutes. So team, kung wala kayong as a plan B, what is an awe-inspiring, please type on chat. Ano yung pwede maging next awe-inspiring experience nyo that you can spend 10 minutes on para it can help you train your attention? Is it yung ganyan? Moon din ba? Sunset? Yeah, okay, perfect. Sunset, maybe for some, sunrise. Can you type on chat, team? Ano yung pwedeng next? Kasi as a result, this can be your next. Or mamaya pa lang, di ba? Sunset. Okay, so perfect. for those, mamaya may sunset, you can use that. Mamaya may stars, you can use that. Ayan, ito maganda yan. Kung umulan, look for the rainbow. So, ang kagandahan ng team, this is something that you can do spontaneously. Uy, bigla may rainbow. I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll just look at it. Diba? Yes. And it can be something as simple as taking a hot shower, drinking water, eating your food. Diba? Team, it does not have to be complicated. So try this out. And again, how do you know that it is working? Because it'll be easier for you to do the 3 tools of MBAT. Anyone would like to share their awe-inspiring experience na nilagay nyo dito? Who would like to share? Please click the raise hands. Curious na kayo. Baka makuha kami na idea sa iyo. Why is that your awe-inspiring experience? Who wants to share? Pa-click naman raise hands. Or maybe you want to share ano yung next exposure to green spaces niya. Ayan, si Juna magka-climb ng mango tree. I'm curious, Mira, ikaw, ano dyan na ano mo? Is it exposure to green space or awe-inspiring experience? Saka mas nakaka-relate?
For me, yung una, yung sa
Mhm.
green spaces, ayan, increase exposure to green spaces, na napapaisip ako, so may point pala yung nanay ko tuwing pinapalabas ako ng bahay.
Yes, Marian, it makes
Ganun ba?
sense na.
Yes, to like take a 15-minute walk outside or kahit tumulala ka lang sa halaman. Ganon, may effect din siya.
Yes. Correct. Thank you. And I saw here, tama, Marie, forest bathing. Yes, that is I think they have forest bathing tours here. Diba? Sa Antipolo ata. What about you, Kat? Is it exposure to green spaces or awe-inspiring experiences?
Ayan, actually, may nag-message sa akin here sa Zoom chat. Sa kanya daw is earth grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Feel ko same din ako sa green spaces. I've been taking morning walks now bago ako mag-start ng activities ng day ko. Kasi feel ko, yun nga, mas nakaka-relax siya and pinaprepare ko yung sarili ko for the day.
Yes, and yeah, thank you, Kat. Kasi when is the best time usually to do this, team? Before the demands of the day begin. Para when the demands of the day begin, okay, hindi ma-hijack attention ko. Rainier, you raise your hand. I'd like to hear from you. Hi, Rainier. Are you still there, Rainier? Nakita ko nag-raise ka ng hand. Ano ka? Green spaces or awe-inspiring hindi niya ma-unmute yung mic mo. Pero what did you put, Rainier? Could you type it again?
Hello po.
Ayun pala. Okay, sige. Go ahead. Tell us more. Ano dito?
Actually, for me, it's the seek out awe-inspiring experiences. Like for instance, the sunset. I really like to look at it because it reminds me that endings can be beautiful too. So it's really something that refreshes me and also reflects yung sa life ko. And that it can really make me think about existential questions that are very essential in giving meaning in my life.
Yeah. And I'll give you a preview, Rainier. No? So when you do this next time, I'd like you to really focus on your senses. Either sense of when you look at the sunset, diba? Sense of sight, or baka may kapasin na sense of hearing or smell as you do this, or touch, and check what is different from the experience. Well, I'll do a deep dive more of that on session 3, but try that out for 10 minutes. Thank you, Rainier. Is it Michael or Michelle? Could you unmute?
Hello.
Michelle. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Saan ka dito?
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Siguro on my part, sir, I'm happy enough. Madali lang naman akong maging happy if sa rain or even pag when I'm driving, nakikita ko yung mga taong tumatawa. Alam mo yun, parang makakaano sa'yo, makakahawa din sa'yo even na nasa in bad condition ka. So, I rather, naging masaya ako, naging transfer sa akin yung kasiyahan ng iba. At yun din, sa grand pasture, yun din po.
Yeah. So, tama yun, di ba, Michelle, the moment you notice, you pause and notice, di ba? Notice and they make carve space to do that, and also with your green spaces. Thank you, Michelle. Okay.
Thank you.
Salamat. Okay, so I'd like to time check lang. I'd like to give the floor back to Mira. Go ahead, Mira. And thank you for everyone who shared. Salamat.
Ayan, for now. Thank you, Sir Dax, for the learning. Super dami naming natutuhan from this session. And now we can proceed to Pigeonhole for our Q&A. I'll just share my screen. Ayan, kindly scan the QR code on your screens or click on the link that our tech support will provide in the chat box. Ayan. So while waiting for the questions to come, I guess I can share a bit of my insights na lang din na it's been very nice for me na we learned to recognize the signs when our attention is hijacked. Kasi minsan, hindi talaga natin siya nare-realize on our own, di ba? Sometimes we may need like a push from others or we just have to stop. Just stop and feel. So ayun yung nagagandahan talaga ako from this session. So how about you, Kat?
Ayan, thanks Mira. Ako naman, na-realize ko sa session natin today is to really focus on today. So yun, that is one of my mantras kasi feel ko nag-overthink talaga ako paminsan. So I remind myself to just focus on what you can do today kasi may tomorrow pa naman. So yun. Ayan, do we have questions na on Pigeonhole?
Yes, may one question na tayo. Actually, two. Ayan, two. Hold on. There.
Okay. Sige. So sa first one, I read it for everyone. No? So about putting yourself into the shoes of the other person. How do you manage boundaries? Kasi baka mamaya, I'm feeling na since you want to please, baka ikaw yung mauubos. So what about you? Okay, team. Ganito, you always look at impact. If it serves the greater good for you and the other person, yes. Pero if you notice na pagparati na lang ganon, tapos hindi nag-change, may repetition, then you need to change the intervention or you drop just like me altogether. But maybe for that situation, hindi bagay si just like me. Maybe something else. Kasi if you look at it, di ba? We have your tools. Choose what works for you. You can even do a combination and then leave out what doesn't work. Di ba? Para siyang toolbox, team. Pipiliin mo ano yung mga tools na bagay for today, tapos yung the rest, iiwan nyo muna sa cabinet. So, see if it serves you. If it doesn't serve you anymore, then put a hold on using it for that person. Okay. Paano yun? Paano mo masasabi naman politely yung concerns mo? At nag-design ka naman pa honestly sa question na email. Pero, all right. So number one, team, is one way is as much as possible, tama yan. You say it politely, di ba? Professionally as you approach. But what we cannot do kasi is we cannot control how the other person reacts. So this is how, kaya ang mangyari ng team, di ba? Even if we write it in a way na is very mindful, baka they still might react inappropriately. Kaya dito ngayon bagay si microhit. So choose a microhit na bagay for that situation because we cannot control how they will be reacting to, even if we're coming from positive intent. How do you discipline? Okay. How do you discipline yourself to become focused? Okay, so team, ang ano muna dyan is you need kasi moments of recovery. Kaya meron tayo yung mga green spaces and awe-inspiring experiences. You need those moments of quiet of 10 minutes. And it won't happen immediately, team. So ito yung papag-usapan natin sa day 3, more on deep dive. But if you spend more time with those activities, you will notice that the MBAT tools will be easier. Yeah. Okay, yung how can I focus if your mind keeps on talking? Okay, well, focus on chatter in our head next week, team. So hopefully we see you there. Kasi this is more of yung bigla kang madidistract by your environment around you. Next week is more of what is going on inside your head. Yes. And if ever, team, I'm practicing na kasi some of the tools, pero hindi pa nag-work. So let's see, team, meron pa kaming tools next week and the week after. See if those work for you or if you combine that with the MBAT tools.
Sir Dax?
Yes, Mira.
Actually, there's parang a problem sa Pigeonhole na may ibang questions na hindi nagpapakita. So I'll just read them out loud since may isang question that received 10 votes actually. So ayan, this is a question. At what point should we start seeking external help when we cannot hold our own when our attention is hijacked?
Rule of thumb, team, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. If after the tools that we'll show you from today until week 3, give yourselves, at least maganda dyan, team, may awareness na. So practice the tools. Kasi for some, kasi maybe you're just having a bad day, so you can use these tools. But I've had this experience before, team. Parang, wait, kahit ginagawa ko yung tools, kahit I'm in green spaces, bakit ganun pa rin ang feelings ko? Then I started seeking professional help. So rule of thumb is 2 weeks if it's still there. The symptoms are still there, despite the tools. Yeah, thank you, Mira.
Actually, there's another question pa that received a vote. Ayan. How should we debrief ourselves when we fail to keep our attention from being hijacked?
How should we debrief ourselves?
Yes, when umabot sa point of failure in keeping our attention from hijack.
Sige, can you give me more context, Mira, para to give me a clear understanding?
Actually, it was just the question that was sent in, but from my understanding, I think baka pag umabot sila ng point na hindi na nila successfully na keep yung attention nila from being hijacked, ano yung gagawin nila at that certain moment to keep themselves on the track?
So, team, you will still be hijacked. You will still be distracted. You will still lose your focus. Ang kagandahan nito, so thank you, I get it now, Mira, is now be curious. What happened today? Or what were the conditions today na because of that, kaya ako nawala na focus? So as you create more, yes, part of the sensor yan, team. Ano yung nangyari sa environment ngayon? Because of this, na hijack ako. So now you can mitigate it next time it happens. So it goes back. Now, kasi you go to the spotlight. Uy, parang na-hijack ako. Nawala ako ng attention, distract ako. So look at the environment. Kasi once you study the environment, what can you do to change it para can you activate the sage and respond better? Thank you, Mira.
Ayan. Maybe may mga gusto pang mag-ask ng questions. We will be sending the Pigeonhole link ulit.
Ayun, thank you.
Yes. If we don't have any more questions, maybe we can start wrapping up the session na. Yes, it doesn't seem like there will be any more new questions, so let's move on. to the next part. Ayan. Yes. So, thank you so much for your time, Sir Dax. Do you have any parting words that you want to share with us?
Oh, ako talaga team, just try it out. See if it works for you and just go baby steps. It won't work kasi kaagad eh. So, if you don't give up kaagad, di ba kasi for some try, hindi nag-work to, wala na. No. Check it muna. Try, give it a chance muna, try it out, and yung be curious. If it didn't work, be curious, and also team. If it worked, be curious also. Uy, nag-work to. Again, go back to your sensor. What was it about my environment today na because of that, nag-work si MBAT tool? Yun. So yun. So just try it out. Put it to a test. And also have fun as you do it.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Sir Dax. So,
Ayan.
moving forward.
Ayan, thank you so much, Dax, for today's insightful session. Sana talaga lahat tayo ay na-win back na ating focus. And if you enjoyed today's session, don't fret, kasi we are still going to see you next week for the second part of the July series, still with Sir Dax. Ayan, and Mira, would you like to read kung ano ang aabangan ng ating learners for the rest of the month?
Ayan. So, join us next week on July 19 to learn how to manage the mental noise, managing the chatter in your head. And for the last part of our July series naman, which will be on July 26, we are talking about the purposeful pause, building mindful habits for well-being.
Ayan. And as we end the session for today, Bestie, may gusto ka bang itanong sa ating learners?
At syempre, narito na tayo. Bakit di pa nagfo-follow ang mga beshi namin na yan? So if you enjoyed our free webinars and would like to stay updated with our new content, do follow us on Facebook because doon po namin pinapost at ina-announce ang aming current at upcoming projects.
And we are having our very first face-to-face positive leadership course. And we only have 15 slots left. So if you would like to enroll, we are going to be sending the link right now. Ayan. And this event will be held at the Discovery Suites Ortigas Center from September 7 to 9, 2023. And our mentors for this course are none other than our co-founders, John Baluyot and Nikki Vergara. Ayan. And I think we have another one, Mira.
Yes. Help us improve the well-being of the Filipino workforce by answering our survey. So if you are a Filipino citizen that's residing in the Philippines, at least 21 years old, and is full-time employed and working in the Philippines, kindly answer the survey through the link sent in the chat box.
And with that, ayan, yan, nasend na po namin. And with that, we are now sending the link to the evaluation form. Again, kindly double check everything before submitting the form since the e-certificates are automatically generated. And kindly click on the link now para in case mag-end po ang meeting, may copy na po kayo ng form. And ayan, sabi nga ni Jason, you love e-certificates, so we provide naman since you asked. And it is currently 4:20 and we will be closing the form in 30 minutes. So click na po yung link. Ayan. Ayan, the link is right there. We will be closing the form at 4:55, I believe. So, ayan.
All right. Thank you so much, Mira and Kat. So for everyone's information, so my name is John. I'm one of the co-founders of Positive Workplaces. I'd just like to give a shout out to Mira, to Kat, and of course to Dax, my classmate in the Gallup certification course last April. Maraming salamat. I learned so much today. And grabe Dax, I can't believe that that's just one session pa lang. How excited are we to be able to be with you pa for the next 2 sessions. And Mira and Kat, grabe, you are like amazing. As in, I can totally see how you can make a living out of hosting and also on facilitating in the future. Grabe, ang bilis-bilis niyong mag-isip, ang bilis niyong gumalaw, and Dax was throwing you a lot of very difficult questions, but still you're able to come back to him immediately while you are doing a lot of the back end work, no? Like people do not see the back end work in all of this, but you are doing so much when it comes to the Mentimeter, also the Zoom pause, ganyan and stuff. So thank you so much for having for trying this out and doing an amazing job in hosting. Sana ano, mas mahaba pa yung time niyo sa amin para mas makapag-host pa kayo ng mas maraming webinars. All right. Kat and Mira, can you go back to the well-being survey, please? Ayan, thank you. So for everyone's information, si Positive Workplaces, since our mission is to co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce, every year we are doing a Filipino well-being workplace survey. And we are also releasing a free report every year about the survey that we conduct para you can equip yourselves and your organizations about how high or low the well-being of employees are in your organizations. So in this case, we would like to get your support so that we can have the minimum number of survey respondents that we need. We actually need at least 200 survey respondents to be able to come up with a good sample size for this project. Again, you will benefit from this because we will release the results to everyone for free. We are not going to charge you for the survey results because we think that this is important information for the country to have. So Mira and Kat has shared this in the chat box. Please pakitapos po. Saglit na saglit po yan. It will not even reach 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to finish the Filipino Wellbeing Survey. And then you get the chance to win pa some of the amazing prizes that we have that we will raffle out for those first 20 respondents who will actually join the survey. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Dax, Mira, and Kat. We're so happy to have you, Dax, be a guest today, and we are now gonna close the room so that we can also debrief from our end. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for participating. We'll share the link one last time in the chat box for the post evaluation para you can get it. Yan. Thank you so much, everyone. We're now closing the rooms.
Salamat.
Thank you.